Hi lovely ones, it's Ethany and I have decided to take some time out today to do the Get to Know Your Witches tag on YouTube. I have been tagged by nobody, but I saw Kellyanne Maddox's video because, big fan of Kellyanne Maddox, and then I started down this rabbit hole of watching everybody else's, and I really wanted to take some time to kind of dive into more of my witchy practice, as that's something that I've kept more private, I guess, than my tarot practice. So if you want to see more videos on my witchcraft and what being a witch means to me, and more of my practice and what I've been up to for the last 21 years of practicing, please let me know, because I will be more than happy to share it. So I'm going to be doing the tag. I put all the links in the description if you want to take a moment to do it. So let's jump in and do the Get to Know Your Witches tag. So the first one is, I also have to say, I apologize if it gets a little bit loud. We've got some people doing some construction upstairs, but I can't do anything about it. They're going to be doing this for days, and I have my son this weekend, and this is the only time I've got to record. So if you hear some bashing and crashing, it's just them. Hopefully it keeps down for a little bit. But I got to tell you, the other thing that's kind of annoying, I've got some meditations to record today, which is not going to happen. So that's a little bit frustrating. But, adaptability, adapt. Very important for the craft of the witch. So the first one is, does your sun sign in your zodiac portray you correctly? If not, do your other planetary signs? Yes, I am a Gemini sun with a Piscean moon and a Virgo rising. And those three things will tell you pretty much everything you need to know about my personality. I am very, very Gemini sun. My mum is a Gemini. My grandmother was a Gemini. I've got lots of Gemini friends, lots of Gemini family. So it's crazy just how much Gemini runs in my veins. I'm very communicative. I love to speak. I'm quite extroverted, but I also like a lot of recharge time. But I'm definitely an extrovert if you look up the definition of extroversion, it's definitely me. My Piscean moon, I believe, is very much the mystical side of me, the more high priestess side of me, the magical, empathic, clairvoyant side of me is that Piscean moon. And then my Virgo rising is very much my control freak, is my love for organization and having everything in my apartment has its home, and I have been known to get up and check if things are where they're meant to be. So I want to know if I'm going to go looking for something, it's going to be where it's supposed to be. I'm that kind of person. So, but yes, my sun sign absolutely does portray me pretty correctly. Very talkative, can talk to anyone about anything at any time. I do like my silence as I'm getting older, but I do also love a good chat. Number 2, what songs bring you the most magical vibes? Oh, music. I love music. I absolutely love music. I have 2 tracks from an instrumental album that was out many, many, many years ago. If I can find them on YouTube, I will put them in the description. But they were tracks that were played a lot in the Pickled Faerie and Other Myths, which was a fairy store that I used to work in. And because I worked there for quite a while and it was my favorite, and I bought the CD from there, that to me is those 2 pieces of music, even though they're just instrumental, take me there. Anything off of the Practical Magic soundtrack. Practical Magic is probably one of my favorite witchy movies. It's like Practical Magic, The Craft, Hocus Pocus. They're all up there, like on my top 3 witchy movies, but Practical Magic, something about that movie, I think it's probably because I'm a diehard romantic, I absolutely love. Crystals by Stevie Nicks is on it. Oh my gosh. Joni Mitchell is on it. Even the Avertis for, I'm not even going to, but the main theme, that makes me feel super magical. I can quote a lot of that movie. So that whole album is incredibly magical to me. And if I put that on, I will feel extraordinarily magical. But it depends on the kind of magic that I want to invoke. Like that's a very like mystical sort of priestessy. Anything by Stevie Nicks is going to make me feel that way pretty much off the bat. But then if Wendy Rule as well, look her up. She's an Australian songstress, goddess, amazing woman. Her circle song, I've mentioned this on my channel before. Her circle song I've seen performed live, and holy fuck does she ever cast an amazing circle. Anyway, look it up. Circle Song by Wendy Rule, Rule. Incredible. Her song Hecate, everything by her is amazing, and that gets me very much into the witchy mood. Laura Powers, Goddess of the Huntress Moon. I love her stuff. Enya, like all that kind of will kind of get me there. But then if I really want to like stomp in my magic, I have a huge playlist of like empowering music. Lizzo is my favorite right now. Anything by her really gets me feeling powerful and very Wonder Woman like. And that is a total type of magic as well. It's not just like the esoteric, unreachable, untetherable, can't really find it. I want to stomp and be a goddess and get in my rah-rah and be very, very witchy as well. So that's like very warrior witch. I mean, priestess of Athena, funny. So that's definitely something that is going to make me feel magical. Okay, so which one of your deities, ancestors, guides, this is number 3, is the most sarcastic with you? If this doesn't apply to you, which one of your tarot and oracle decks are? I don't know if this is because I am sarcastic in nature and I think I'm I think I'm freaking hilarious. But a lot of stuff is very sarcastic with me. The only deities that I find aren't are the gods that I work with and the goddesses that I work with in a more formal aspect. So for example, I'm a priestess of Athena, and she, when I'm working with her personally, it's very respectful, it's very reverent, it's very, I just realized my camera is a little bit, it's going to annoy the crap out of you all, is very, see, the OCD thing, I'm going to leave that in there because that proves to you that my Virgo rising has power over me. But no one has power over me. Oh, David Bowie. Oh, The Labyrinth. That also has magical vibes. I'm digressing. So it's very like I go to that being for respect and to have it's a very different relationship to my guides. My guides are going to be sassy as fuck because I'm pretty sassy and I want to hear it pretty much delivered. And I wrote my Bad Bitches Tarot guide to be that way as well, to be like, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. If you need to walk away, you need to walk away. If you need to hear some hard truths about some things, I'm going to tell it to you. So a lot of my guides are very sassy. I don't work a lot with my ancestors. A lot of the people in my family passed away before I even got a chance to really know them. And I wasn't super close with, just due to like geographically and, some other reasons. I wasn't very close with a lot of my family that have passed over. So I haven't done a lot of ancestry work, and maybe that's something that I can do, even though I know you don't have to necessarily know like your ancestors to work with the ancestors. It's something that I haven't really delved into a lot, and maybe that's something that I can work on in my craft. So I think most things are sassy except for my deities. Those, it's a very different relationship and it's almost hard to put into words. I feel like when I'm working with them, I'm walking into temple space. So, and I view those sorts of experiences to be rather sacred. So I wouldn't walk into any church or any sacred space or any mosque or anything like that and be disrespectful, because the power there, even if it's not my belief system, it is somebody else's, and I will respect that. So I'm not going to do, and that's just me, remembering this is all just me. If you have a different relationship, and that's fine. Even with more cheekier or more not sly, but even with tricks to gods and goddesses, I'm still like, I'm here to learn from you and have this relationship where we're learning from each other, and I'm petitioning you for a reason, or I've come to you for a reason. So I'm going to be really respectful in that. I hope that makes sense. Number 4, biggest witchy mess up or misinterpretation. So I nearly burnt down a shop once using a wrong cauldron, but I've told that story a number of times. But I want to say that something that I did when I was very new to the craft, when I was 15, and I wish that I could take back, was I used to troll chat groups. And I've spoken about this before, I don't know where, on my YouTube channel, but I used to troll chat rooms, religious chat rooms, and stir up things by like quoting, oh God, if I could go back and talk to my 15-year-old self, man. This is when you had to dial up the internet and quote Bible, verses, and just, I thought and just start crap. And it was just so juvenile. And to be honest, I only did it a couple of times, and I was rebelling very much, not because I had religious parents, but because I was actually mad at family friends. None of my friends, anyway, it's a very stupid, long story, but I definitely did that thing that a lot of people, when either they come to the craft and they kind of want to, this pendulum is swinging the other way. So a lot of people come from the craft from maybe a very organized religious space or a very organized religious family, and they kind of swing the pendulum a little bit too much the other way. And I didn't have a religious family. I did go to church for a while, and I'm still very okay with churches, like going to churches and with my religious friends, and I'm absolutely okay with Jesus. Jesus and I have got a very good understanding. I believe that the frameworks in which we are all learning under have immense value, as long as they are giving you something, as long as they mean something to you. So it wasn't really about that. It was just being really fucking immature, if I'm going to be honest. But mess ups, I don't really know if I had any like mess ups. I'm a very laid back kind of person. I have done lots of very structured formal ritual. I've done very off the cuff ritual. And for me, it's like whatever it feels right in the time. So my biggest witchy mess up or interpretation was really not taking time at 15, funnily enough, who does at 15, to be a little bit more self-reflective as to why I felt like the need to go and kick a beehive for no reason. Like, why do that? And I don't argue with people online anymore. I've learnt my lesson. I don't even do it now. If I see something that like it triggers me, or I feel like someone is saying something that I know I have receipts on, that I could be like, yeah, I'm not even talking about religious, I just scroll on by, because my energy is more valuable than taking time to engage in a conversation that is not going to do anyone any good but adding fuel on the fire. And because I'm a Gemini and I have a very quick tongue, I am very good at knowing someone's Achilles heel and going for it. I will stand up to people and I will shut down bullying and hate speech, no problem. But I'm just saying I'm not really one to throw fuel on the fire anymore. And I've been called out. I have to admit, I have been called out by elders in my community in Australia a number of times for like, put your toes back in line. That was not called for. And I love that. Like, I want someone to say, that was a catty comment, don't do that again. Because, we're all learning. I'm not perfect. It's been a long while, but I have a very vivid memory of a high priestess and an elder in Australia telling me to knock it off. And, I did. I knocked it off, and I needed to be told so. Would you write a book on your craft of spirituality? why? If you have, what were your challenges in doing so? So I haven't written a book on my spirituality. I have written books on tarot, and I run a coven, but I haven't written a book on my spirituality. Would I? Maybe. I've always kind of said that I wasn't sure I'd have anything to add. I think that would be my biggest challenge, is like, what do I have to add now? I mean, I'm writing a book that is sort of spirituality, sort of tarot at the moment, and that is very much where I'm at in my practice. It's very intertwined. So I guess that's the case. But when it comes to like Wicca and witchcraft, maybe it would be a witchcraft book, but Wicca, I moved from very traditional Wicca to eclectic Wicca, to being a witch that has still frames in Wicca. And the reason why I say that is because I do honour the Sabbats and the Wheel of the Year, and that is a Wiccan framework. So I don't know, maybe one day, never say never, but I'm definitely working on, one of the books I'm working on is it's got ritual and magic and altars and invocations and things like that, but it's also very tarot based. So it's this beautiful marriage. And with any book, with any writing that I do, it is always a labor of love and quite difficult. Like some days it all pours out, but it is really a dedication of sitting in front of your computer or however you choose to write and doing the work. And it's very, very glamorous. That's what I'm looking for. Okay. I like this one. Number 6. If someone wanted to summon you to their circle, what 5 items would they need? Chocolate, a tarot deck, chocolate cake. I love chocolate cake, and I love very specific chocolate cake. I just want really good buttercream icing and a homemade chocolate cake, or Whole Foods chocolate cake, or Trader Joe's chocolate cake. No, I don't want like 15 layers of nonsense. I just want a nice home-baked chocolate cake or a home-baked brownie with frosting. Don't you give me no brownie without a frosting. So that would be number 1. A tarot deck would be number 2. You would need a tarot deck, or I'm not partying. Anything to do with drag queens would be pretty high up there. A statue of either Shira, Athena, or an owl or a bee. So those very powerful symbols. What's that, 4? 5. What would summon me? Maybe a Backstreet Boys song? Or some other geekery, like, I don't know, a Marvel. I'm a pretty big geek, but like stationery would also summon me. Yes, I like the stationery. That would definitely summon me. But that's really great. I like that. Very, as you can see, some of it was very non-witchy, but I like a lot of things. If you were a ghost, what place would you haunt? Oh gosh, what place would I haunt? Now this could get really philosophical, because it's like, why would I waste my time haunting a place? Like, why would I want to hang around anywhere and haunt a place? The White House? Just like fuck shit up there. Just be a poltergeist and like knock things over. Be a ghost cat that's just like edging things off of the corners. Where would I haunt? I don't know. I'd want to say like some amazing castle somewhere. But I would hope that my spirit would just be like, yeah, I'm not doing this. I don't have the time for this. Maybe a library. I'm obsessed with books. So it could be a library or a temple, or the woods somewhere, you know, like get very Baba Yaga on everybody and be like, woo! Or a drag club. There'd be a few places. Now I'm thinking about it, there's probably a few places. Or a movie theater. I love the movies. I love going to the movies hard. So that'd be great, because then if you're haunting it, you can watch all the movies that come out and I would never miss anything. So when they're on like the 50 millionth year of Marvel movies, I can still go and see them all. Oh, funny. What's the funniest way someone has reacted to finding out you're a witch? I mean, very, very fortunate. I've had people kind of look at me like, are you serious? Like, that's actually a thing that you want to identify with. I've had weirder experiences when people have found out what I do for a living. A lot of people ask, like, can you cast a spell on me? You know, just nonsense about Lucifer, which I'm currently binging and absolutely love. What's the funniest reaction? I don't think I really had a funny reaction. I think like the whole like, really? Like that kind of thing has been definitely a reoccurring thing. So I've never had anyone say like, yeah, no way, or throw water on me, or I'm sure someone's had some snarky comment, but like I can't remember, so it wasn't that good. Number 9, do I have any superstitions? I want to say no, but I probably do. Because let's put it this way, I have found myself doing things for sure where I could be like labeled as a superstition. So things like dropping salt, but like if I see a black cat walking across my path, I'm like, kitty! I'm not, like, it doesn't really bother me. I don't go, well, you shouldn't go under ladders anyway, because that's just dangerous. Am I a superstitious person? I don't think that I am, but I believe that things have power, and you can have talismans and symbols and superstitions that definitely mean something to you, that are important to you for sure. And that, no, I don't really think I am superstitious. No, 13's always been a lucky number. I'm going to say no. I don't think I have any superstitions. I do walk around and like I can point to places that are haunted, but I don't think that's a real superstition. Okay, number 10. If you could possess any fantasy magic, what would it be? Oh, love this. Okay, I've always wanted to be able to fly. I have a terrible fear of heights, but that's because of the control element of it, and not for the fact that I would love to be able to fly. That would be, I think, my number one thing. Stuff strength, stuff any of that. Flying would be so awesome. I think that would be my number one. Or like healing, I think would be maybe number 2. I think, yeah. But definitely flight would definitely have to be up there. What is something random on your altars? Now I have altars everywhere, and I actually looked through this list and I to see if I could find something. Now I did find 2 things. The first random thing on my main altar is this set of fairy wings, and I'm going to show you. So this is a set of fairy wings from, you're supposed to stick it down your bra strap, but I'm wearing a very high cut dress. So this is if you actually strap it in properly, it does, oh my gosh, look at that. It does sit it does sit properly. But this is from Faerie Angela, like one of the originals, and she's done wings for Victoria's Secret, like amazing. I also have a massive pair, but they're hanging up behind it, and I couldn't get them out without moving a bunch of stuff. But this hangs above my altar. I should do an altar tour one of these days if you're interested. This hangs above my altar space, and I've worn them to Fairy Worlds, Fairy Con. They're probably going to come with me to Pride this year, or maybe the big ones will come to Pride this year. I love fairy wings, like I've mentioned right at the beginning of my video, and if you have a look through my blogs and things, I worked at a fairy shop. So I love fairies. I love magic, wings, fairies, anything to do with that sort of realm. I'm all in it. Get it flying. That's all like come back around. And the other thing is this little duva that I got in Borders in America, and you can't really see it. Oh, you can here. It's the moon, and it runs on people power. So my son is not a fan of the dark, and it's a projector light, and so sometimes he plays with this, and it made its way on my altar. So it's a little moon. You can see it there on my hand. Ooh, moony moon. So that's also on my altar as well. So I have a few random things. Everything else is very purposeful. No, I've got lanyards from events that I've been to that hang above it. I've got random cards. Like I said, if you want to have an altar tour, I have a number of them in my house. But if you want to have an altar tour of my main altar, I will do that if you would like at some point. I've got a lot of videos, like the tarot collection one I promised you all. But the thing is, the tarot collection video is, I didn't know how to group them because they're all in different places. So now I'm like, do I take them all out and put them into piles of theme, or how do I do it? So I'm still trying to figure that out, but they are coming. If one of the number 12, if one of the YouTubers you watched were a genie and they could grant you 3 wishes within their power, who would it be and what wishes? And it can't be for more wishes. So who would it be? Well, a genie can be anybody. And I don't really know, so I don't want to answer that bit. Who would it be and what they could grant me 3 wishes within my power. What would my wishes be? Okay, so I've actually thought about this because I just went and saw Aladdin with my sister and we were talking about what would your wishes be. And if it was like the genie in Aladdin, where it's this trapped in servitude, and if by letting that genie go they're not going to cause chaos, then that would totally be my 3rd wish. No one should be living as a slave, especially when power put into the wrong hands can be very, very destructive. So that would be my 3rd wish. My 1st wish, and I thought about this probably too much because it's never going to happen. One of those like 3 o'clock in the morning things when I can't sleep, would be to have an unlimited amount of money. Now, the reason why is because the world at the moment, you can dismantle governments and things like that, and you could be king of the world and do all the things that you want to do. But geopolitics, politics and people are very, very complicated, and I would just want a lot of money so I could do things like pay off student debts for people. I would fix infrastructure problems. I would buy rainforests and protect them. I would make sure that, the wrong people don't get... that's the sort of stuff that I would do. I would buy a fleet of boats that go out and clean the ocean, that run on solar power, and they get rid of all the plastic and stop people from shark finning and whale hunting, and I would do all that sort of stuff. I would give people, I'd pay off their medical bills. Like, I know I live in Canada and I'm Australian, but I've seen my friends who live in the state, their medical bills. I'd pay off like people's bad debt. I would work on technology that has been abandoned because it's too expensive, things like that, because money can change the world, and if you harness that power, I would put it in the right hands. I would literally have unlimited funds of money. I'd get everyone a fucking Tesla so that we're not running on coal anymore. But and then my 2nd wish, which would take care of this problem of becoming a target for people wanting to harm you. I would wish for myself and everyone that I love, so the beer list, could choose when and how they want to die. That's a pretty cool wish. Those would be my 3, and then I would set the genie free. And if the genie didn't want to be free, well, peace. But if not, I just think do some good and then let that power go. I really would, because that breaks my heart every time. And Aladdin, Beauty and the Beast, and The Little Mermaid were my top 3 Disney movies of all time. Growing up, the originals. So I've thought about this wish thing for a while. If you could, 13, if you could instantly become an expert in any part of your craft or spirituality, what would it be? Oh, where's the fun in that? That's such a Hermione Granger moment. I don't know if I actually would. Well, maybe more of the intellectual stuff that I find a little bit dry. That would probably be it. And the only reason I'm saying that is because some books like Levi and, Blatsky and, oh my God, some of it is just really droll and really boring. And I just can't. So I would probably become an expert in some real hardcore occultism that I find dry and boring. And I get it, a lot of people are going to be like, well, then you're not a real occultist and you're not a real witch, and well, fuck off. First of all, I don't give a shit. I'm not here for anyone's magical stamp of approval to practice my craft. That's between me and deity and nobody else. Secondly, I don't know, I don't want to read dry, stuffy books, but I wouldn't want to become an expert of any part of my craft or spirituality that's not academic, because I love learning. I was that nerdy kid who had their hand up, who won book awards, who wanted to go to school, who wants to go to the library. I need to experience a lot of things in order to really learn. And I love learning. So like, I feel like that is part of the journey. So when I said, where's the fun in that? I actually really meant it. And when I'm talking about the more intellectual, hardcore stuff, I would just like to have that encyclopedia in my brain so that I could put it into practice more. That would be the only thing. 14, when you die, what do you think happens to your soul? I don't know, but another thing that has kept me awake at 3 o'clock in the morning when I've been having bouts of insomnia. I don't know. I have some ideas, but I don't know, and I don't know if we are supposed to know. I have an idea that we go back to the primordial goo, the collective consciousness, that thing. Do we retain information about our solitary soul, one soul experience, as in like who you are as an identity? I don't know. I hope so. I've worked very hard to like who I am. I'm having a great time. I don't believe we just disappear, but I don't know. That's a very philosophical question. And then, where do you see yourself spiritually in the next 5 years? I honestly feel very deep in my heart and in my bones that I won't be going anywhere in regards to the craft, and in regards to goddess and god, pagan root worship of, and working with those deities, and wanting a connection with nature, and working with the rhythms of the moon and the sun, and working with my decks and my self-reflective work, and working with my groups and things like that, and my coven and my friends, and because that has been such an enriching part of my life, I can't feel it going anywhere. It hasn't changed through multiple, moving countries, relationships, like businesses, having a kid. Like, it's not that has been a constant in my life. So I don't really feel like it's going to be going anywhere. Where do I see myself spiritually in the next 5 years? I would like to finish doing my shaman training. I started doing South American shamanistic proper apprenticeship. I'd like to finish that. I think that's going to be the next thing that I allow myself to be the student on. I do carry out shamanistic practices, but I would like to actually finish my initiations. I spent time in South America. I want to do it in the most respectful way possible. And I think that's probably going to be it, but I don't really know. As long as I'm still happy, I think that's the big thing there, is as long as I'm still happy and it's bringing something to my life. And at that point, my son will be 10. Whoa, he'll be 10, and I want to lead by example for him to be a positive change in the world, and to be a positive person, and to help, and to bring more love and laughter and understanding and connection to people than pulling people apart and discourse and argumentation, argumentative positionings, and be happy, and healthy. But modeling is, for me as a parent, is very, very important. So as long as I am doing that in a positive way, I think that's pretty much it. So that's my tags. I will, as I mentioned, I would love if you want to do this to, come on board and share. They're kind of scratching my back now, so I'm going to take them away. But thank you for watching if you're still here. I also have these little minifigs. I've got my little Harry Potter minifigs. I should pull them down in one day too. They're glued on there, so I'm not going to do it right in a second. That kind of got a little bit random. But thank you so much for watching. This was actually really nice. It's my birthday in less than a week, so it was kind of nice to do this as a bit of a reflection of what's going on in my life before I celebrate another turn around the globe. And I thought I saw a spider. I did not. Thank you for watching. I'm wrapping this up, you silly wanker. I am such a silly woman. I will put information in the description below, and have a beautiful day, afternoon, middle of the night, whenever you're watching this video.